I think the next big feast that the fans want, for speaking of food, they want another Queen collaboration. I think that's what they want.
Oh yeah.
They want another video we can make no dollars off of and get our YouTube channels in trouble. That's what they want.
We will game you. Yeah, that'll
There you
work.
go.
Yeah.
Real quick, because I'm sure some people would want to know, and because it has to be about me a little bit, what was it like working with Pat?
I will say that I think that I am not a natural collaborator. I went to grad school in a program that was largely collaborative and came out of it realizing that I know how to collaborate, but it's not always my natural go-to. I feel like with you and me, we're both leaders in our own bubbles, and we're both pretty headstrong. And I think that a lot of times when I have collaborated with people, it's easier from a emotional perspective if they kind of just let me lead. You and I both cared a lot about that video, so it's not like we butted heads and came to blows. It was more that I think maybe we were both, I don't know if you were surprised, but we were both kind of confronted with the other one kind of putting up a stone wall and then going, oh wait, no, we're collaborating. Okay, how do we work around this? There was also
I actually don't remember in terms of the creative part of it. I don't remember there being a lot of no, I think this should be better, this should be better. In terms of like the actual writing, I thought we were on the same page for like 95% of it.
You know what? That's totally true. The actual writing of the lyrics was highly collaborative. It was kind of like a ping pong game where one of us would write the first chunk, the other would try another. We would go back and kind of curate what the other had done and discuss it. That part was fine. I think when it came to the actual, and it's not like it was this huge pain in the ass. It just was a situation where when I got frustrated, I had to look into myself and go, okay, what am I really mad at? And it was not that I was mad at you. It was that I don't like sharing and that I'd been spoiled by YouTube with the ability to control every tiny detail. And so stuff like I sent you my first rough edit, which I was still using iMovie. I still cannot believe iMovie didn't, actually it did crash a few times, but I still can't believe it spit out a final product in the end of that. Like, it was such a long, complicated edit. But I want to say you gave me like 3 pages of time-coded notes. And I was like, what?
Oh, like cut this here. This should be lined up with this. You know, things like that.
Yeah, but it was in the end just a realization for me of going, okay, am I upset that I don't agree with these notes, or is it just the fact that I'm not used to finally finishing a draft of something and kind of sitting back and going, it is good. And
you're like, who the hell is this guy telling the mighty Brentalfloss what to do with his videos? I have this down. He's never done a viral music video. I have.
Well, and it's a style issue. I think that if you look at both of our channels, we definitely have different styles and creative values, but the challenge when collaborating is to kind of use the best of both and not mix what I call ketchup and marshmallows, which is like sometimes two people who are both great on their own. Like ketchup's great in its context, marshmallows are great in their context. The challenge is not combining that stuff into something that's unpalatable, but rather taking the stuff that works from both.
Yeah.
And combining them to make a thing you couldn't have made on your own.
Yeah, collaboration, obviously there's give and take, but yeah, you don't do a collab. At least this is why I've done very limited collaborations. I think I've done like 3 or 4 in being on YouTube in 6 years. You have to have styles that mesh to some degree, and you have to have something that you think going in, at least from my perspective, it would be difficult for one or the other to achieve on their own without the two people coming together. That's the way. That's why I always looked at it. But yeah, I'm probably in the same sort of realm as you, where it's for me, it probably wasn't so much about control, whether I'm just a perfectionist when it comes to, you know, if my name's going to be on something, this is how I would like it to look. For me being like, this is how I think it would be the most effective. I mean, what I did to you, I did the exact same thing to James when we did our Nintendo World Championships video in 2011, and he was probably saying like, who the hell is this guy telling me, you know, I should be doing this edit and this edit and this edit, and it worked out for the most part because he didn't make a some of the changes, and he did come back to me and say later that it did work out better with some of your changes. And I think that's also part of the collaboration process is maybe giving up some of that control and finding some humility on both ends to realize
Absolutely.
that, hey, maybe I don't always have maybe whether or not it works for me all the time, maybe in this instance, maybe the other person's idea is it wins out because it's a little bit stronger.
Absolutely. It's the kind of thing where it's like trying to create a constitution from two different cultures with different values.
Mm-hmm.
And like, your values sort of portrayed the fact that you had a different opinion about which part of certain games to show or how long to stay on a shot of a certain game. And half of those games I'd never played. Like I played a lot of the like absolute classics everybody had as a kid playing Nintendo, but like Rygar, no way. Never even heard of it. Stuff like that. Where
The deep NES cuts, or at least deeper
Exactly.
cuts.
Exactly. And so like at first it was like this affront to my ability as an editor. But that's really, I think, a lot of times what it comes down to is that when we have our own little bubble and when we're doing our own little thing, as long as the audience mostly likes it, we can pat ourselves on the back and go, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. And after a while, you get used to your own standards and values, and they're only challenged after the fact. But even by that time, you still knew what you were going for.
Mm-hmm.
When you do it midstream, it feels at first kind of like your legs gone out and you're just trying to walk across the room. You're like, look, I could do, but in
Sure.
the end, what we did, I think, was something that neither of us could have done alone. And a lot of your notes added a lot of authenticity to the classic, particularly classic Nintendo games, because that's the thing that I have a very Swiss cheese experience with. Like I know a lot of games, I know a couple obscure ones, but I don't really know the entire library, and that seems like something you're kind of an expert in.
Sure. So
by the end, we combined our skill sets and our knowledge in a way we couldn't have otherwise.
So I didn't realize that you were ever even upset at the specific choice of games. My feeling was I'd rather splay it out a bunch of hard games versus just showing a bunch of Mega Man clips over and over again. So anyway, that's all. I just think it was interesting. We've collaborated a second time and that didn't work out either. Actually, the first time worked out. What am I talking about? That video went viral. It did go viral.
I think the main tragedy of Nintendo Bohemian Rhapsody is the legal trouble, particularly on my end, and I learned a good lesson, which is really read the fine print if YouTube ever stops you and makes you click a box before you upload, because basically what I thought I was saying was, yes, of course I've used somebody else's tune here. What I was actually legally admitting was using audio from the original Bohemian Rhapsody, which we took great pains to not use any of that audio and to make it sound as authentic as we could.
Sure.
And that we got burned in that.
Yeah,
but,
then it turns into a whole. Do you want to defend it that it's parody versus not? And then obviously we don't have the money or lawyers to even do that.
I appealed it, and YouTube stopped the appeal by going like, I forget how they put it. I forget how official it was, but the subtext was basically, "Hey, don't fuck with these guys, okay? Just don't." So I took my lumps and I lost my unlisted videos privileges and certain annotations privileges for 6 months.
Yeah,
but
I
the
felt
video,
terrible.
had all the potential.
Oh yeah, like I said, it went. I think it did within probably 3 or 4 days. Did like 250,000 on my channel. And I said this to you the past weekend. If that was on your channel and didn't get freaking stomped on, it would have done even better. Because you had that built-in fan base that I didn't at the time. When we did that video, I think I may only had about 20,000 subscribers 2 years ago, or 25,000. But whatever. Maybe we'll in the distant future we'll do one for "Don't Stop Me Now." We'll do one and get sued or something. But
We'll make it about Twitter. Don't block me now.
don't. No, I don't. I'll start thinking of it. I already started thinking of lyrics after we did the first one about blowing on carts and doing a 4-minute opus just about on blowing on carts to get them to work better. But anyway, this has been really really fun. This is almost like inside the YouTube studio. Maybe I should just start that sort of series.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's been great.
So this will go up on iTunes, and then I'll get people yelling at me or not letting Brent talk enough, or I spoke too much, or Brent spoke too much. That's just how the internet is.
I highly, highly doubt they're going to say you talk too much interviewing me. I really doubt that.
No, they'll just call for you to be my co-host instead of Ian going forward. So, good luck with everything, Brent. I'm sure our paths will cross, whether or not on Twitter in the future, or maybe another late night run at a Safeway supermarket buying supermarket sushi. That was the worst mistake I've made in years. And not that it didn't make me sick. Not that it obviously could have. Just that it was absolutely horrific to eat. So,
yeah, it was vaguely fossilized.
I was yearning for your late night macaroni salad on the bed.
Man, now that was a good choice. I filled up on it too much to drink much beer, but that was probably kind of an accidentally great choice in itself.
All right, Brent. Thanks for coming out. And, bye.
It was a pleasure. Talk to you later.
Thanks for watching. And another thanks to Brent Black for agreeing to being interviewed by me for, an hour. Check out his stuff if you haven't before. YouTube channel, I'll put right there. Check out his videos. He also has a podcast in the works called Trends Like These, along with his friend, Travis McElroy. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll see you next time. There's more of these planned in the future. More Pat Contri interviews. Take care.